Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to study about what are functions. And even though we're going to study about moreover the basic fundamentals of your function. To start with this, let us know what is functions. A function is a block that is organized and it is a reusable code that is used to perform perform a single or a various related actions regarding it. So basically what happens is like a function is always a block of code, okay, which only runs when it is called. It will never run before like we never call their function, so it will not recall itself. Moreover, if I'll tell you, have an example, like you need to, if I'll address you or if I'll advise you that you need to go to your local market to purchase something, that I am addressing you. If you only and only remembers by your mind that today I need to do something, so that is according to you, but I haven't called you, correct? Or I haven't advised you. So that how it depends upon the basic functionality, like it has attainability or not. Function can always being passed data. Function can always pass a data. We can also pass the data in that. And that data is obviously known as the parameters that is generated into a function, correct? And a function provides a better modularity for all the application. That's how the functions are being used in this. A function can return the data as a result, and the function can provide a high degree of your code reusing. How we used to create a function, how we used to define a function. But before that, let us know the rules of defining a function in your Python. So number first rule as in your Python, in your defining a function in your Python as like it always begin with a keyword def, that is def, that is the keyword use def followed by a function name and a parenthesis, correct? Obviously, whenever we used to like declare any of your function or any of your basic modularity, it always depend upon your def. That is the way we are being like we are actually like beginning some of the code in this, correct? Just give me a minute. Correct. So over here I'll note down that always remember always remember your function always starts with def, begins with, it always begins with def, correct? And the parent, it will always start like followed by some parenthesis, correct? This is the function in Python. And a function, what function it is? A function is your block, like a code of block, okay, a block of code, sorry, it is a block of code, correct? Just remember these things of your function. Like it is, it begins with def, then parenthesis, that functions, correct? These are the 3 points to remember about the function. Oftenly, we used a lot of like rules in your parameters or your defining a function, but these are the main type, correct? So it is obviously known towards the basic formularity. So the number second rule for using a rule for defining a function is like a function block begins with a keyword def and it follows by a function name, correct? This is your first one, and the second one is any output we give as a parameter or as an argument, it should be placed with these with the parenthesis itself, because in tuples you know that there is no parenthesis, but in functions we use a parenthesis. Or we can also define some parameters inside the parenthesis, correct? Number third rule is the code block in every function starts with a colon. It defines like whenever the code block is started or begins, it started with a colon. And the statement returns, number fourth is your statement returns with an expression, that is the exit function. Or we can say the passing back an expression to the caller, correct? Number fifth is your return statement with no argument is same as the return argument, return none. Now how we call a function or how we create a function, let me just tell you. So this is for creating a function. I'm creating a function, correct? Now in this, just remember one thing. I told you that a function is always just generated or begins with def, correct? And with the some functioning part of the condition, okay? Correct? And it ends with an expression or a semicolon. It ends with this part, semicolon, correct? Now, if I'll say that print, I'm using the expression now. I need a hello, print hello, correct? If I'll run this program, a function is created, but your function will be defined as an recognition part, correct? If I'll write print my function, whatever my function is, okay, I've called a function output, but the output would be this only. My function is this. Yeah. So what I had done is I had created a function defining using the def keyword. After that, what I did, call a function. To call a function, we use the function name. What is the function name? This is your function name, correct? And by using this, we use a parenthesis, correct? This how you're creating a function is done. Suppose I'll write if I'll give only and only in this, let us try, because when you will trying something now, if it goes wrong also, that is fine, at least you're trying, correct? Let us print this. So I passed a list in this and it has obtained and call a function in this, correct? This is your creating as well as your calling of your function, correct? Just remember this point. This is very much important, how to create a function, how to begin with a function, or how to call a function, correct? Now moving forward to what are the syntax, what are the function syntax and how your function syntax are being defined. A very good example is I presented over here in the function syntax. I took a function, any function you can take. This I told you for defining the begin with your function of your def keyword, then your name of your function, then your parameters, what parameters is there. After that, the body is there and the return expression is there. The def keyword introduce a function definition. Your parameter, input parameter is there and the code block is there. So input parameter is placed within your parenthesis and also defined as in parameter inside the parenthesis. Your colon is your code block with your function starts. Then there is an expression. So returning the statement exists a function block, and also we can get a no argument, return a no argument, okay? So this is the syntax, basic syntax to write your function as, just remember the basic syntax to write your function code as this. Or def, correct? In your def, any my function, I'll say, I'm just writing my function, correct? And parenthesis. And after that, some of the expression statement is there. Statement 1, statement 2, and expression is there. correct? Now moving forward, what are your functional argument? What is an argument? How the argument is formed? So the argument is defined as the information can be passed into the function as in function. So arguments are specifically just after we write an we pass an argument that has been specified after the function name inside the parenthesis, and you can add as many as the argument as you want. This is not compulsory, like you need to add only one or two or three or four, as many as you can add the argument you need to, but they are being separated by the comma. Okay, if I'll say that I need to add the functional components or the functional the statics, so it depends upon me, like how many arguments I need to develop upon, correct? So what are your default argument values? So default argument values are defined as the argument that assumes a default value if a value is not provided in a function call for an argument. If we don't have any function value, we cannot call the function, cannot call the function argument. Okay, it assumes a default value, but it is not actually the default value. So default value is evaluated only and only once. It cannot be read again and again, correct? When any of your value is not passed, then it takes a default argument. Suppose I'll give you let me think. Okay, suppose I'll give you a specific verified name, that your name is XYZ. Okay, and after that what will happen, that you cannot change your name, or nobody else can change your name because it's already verified and registered out, correct? So that how if we assume the default value, the value is not provided in the function, so it cannot be returning every time, and it cannot evaluate also every time. Only and only one time it can judge out and evaluate itself. Let me take one example of your default argument. Correct. I'm taking off simple fellow first of all. For beginning of your function, we used to write def, as you already know, my function. Yes. Name, correct? I'm just writing, and again I'm adding more of my functions. I'll do one thing in the f name. I'll print something. Semicolon is also important. This, and you will literally like forgot to add semicolons. I'm just writing this f name plus I'm adding something more. Okay, if I'll write it are fences. Any of your functional name you can define out. Okay, and in this parameter itself, I need to add more of your functions. In your functions, I am adding now email. Then same in my function, I am adding my phone number. Any of your, like, let's take an example only. ABCD, ABC, correct? And a similar, I'll take 3 of that you can create, and in this I'm writing XYZ C E F G, correct? I'm adding this. Now if I'll print this, so you can see if I'm printing this, my function is already my f name. Okay, and f name, what the f name is declaring of, it's ABC. In ABC, it is entering this part, correct? If I'll say, you will get more idea. If I'll say my name is Anshika, Another person name is any Rohan. Then again if I'll say Rohan, Ajay, correct. And in this, if I need to add a surname, if I'll write in this Gupta, correct. If I'll print this out, so it would be Anshika Gupta, Rohan Gupta, Ajay Gupta. In this, if I already passed the names, but after that I'm passing the surname also to add and concatenate it. So it is defining more of my argument in a simplest form, correct. This is how, like, this is the example you have to remember, because this example what I showed you is that it has an example of your function with one argument, and that argument name is your f name, correct. This argument is already placed here, the function name. This is your argument, and which is also the function is called the like argument we called. Then we pass along with the first name, which is used inside the function to print the full name, correct. This is already we passed out, and another we are doing, and this is the multiple one, okay, correct. And often your arguments are often shortened to arguments in your Python documentation. You can also write the args or any of that, correct. Now moving forward to your keyword argument. So what is your keyword argument? Keyword argument are related to the functional calls. Second, using your keyword argument in a function call, the caller identifies the argument by the parameter name. It always allows you to skip the argument or place them on the order side. The Python interpreter uses the keyword provided to fetch or match the value with your parameter. So here is an example I have wrote about the keyword argument. So the keyword argument I wrote a functional part, like any of your degree you have been declared. After that you have to print date and date, then print air and air, okay, and after that your returning part, and a caller identifies the keyword argument by the parameter name. And calling of your argument or doesn't matter in that. So let us perform an example of your keyword argument. Let me just change out. Yes, this is your keyword argument, correct. In this I'm passing some parameters, no arguments. If I'll say that child 3, child 1, it is only and only your keyword argument can only and only send the argument where the key equal to value syntax, correct. This way your order of the argument doesn't matter at all, just as the phrases of your keyword matters, correct. If I'll say that this is 2, child 1, okay, after that if I'll print these are the child part, okay. If I'll say that the youngest child is just to write get, okay, and I'm just declaring the child 3 in this again, okay. If I'll write again my function, in that my function I'm writing that the child 1 is, I'm specifying this, that the child 1 is ML, child 2 is your child 2, any name you can give out, like I'll just write the child 2 is Linus, correct, and child 3 is your Abis, correct. Now let's print it. What error I'm getting in the line number 3? Print the young child, okay, but okay, Okay, I think this. So yeah. So the youngest child is Abyss. The youngest child is Abyss. So what we did is, and there's child 1 is Amil, child 2 is Lunas, child 3 is your Abyss. Okay, now the youngest child is Abyss. Whatever is greater than in your alphabetic or any of that, not in alphabetic, but we can say that the argument passing in that, so it will print that characterizations. So it is known to be the related to the function call. What is the function call at first part? Okay, using any of your keyword or using any of your functional call, it depends upon the identifier to return, correct? And for returning the identifier, it obviously returns to the value point. Now coming back to your PPT, that is your arbitrary argument. So what is your arbitrary argument? In your arbitrary argument, it has a value of your given the statics point. If you don't know about how many arguments that will pass into your function, we used to add an asterisk sign before the parameter name in your function definition itself. So this is the just a way similar the way function will be receiving your tuple of your argument, and you can access the each and every value in that. And these arguments are the variable length argument, which used variable length argument is just to add more arguments that will specify a defining function with itself. And for adding these all the variable name, we used to use the asterisk sign that will hold the value of the known keywords, and this will always remain empty as in tuple part if there is no argument or the specific call is not there in the particular sections, correct? I'll show you by performing an example. Let us keep the same. Only and only this I'll write. First of all, this is your arbitrary argument. Correct? In this, if I'll write that, instead of writing child 1, child 2, child 3, let's write kids. Okay, if I say that the youngest child is your kids, your kid, and in this I am just like putting a position. Let us run this. Okay, again the error is there. Kids, my function. Okay, print the youngest child is correct. Kids 2, my function. Okay, correct. So try to just look for the error, because in this each and everything is there. Okay, try to find the error in your output part. I'll run this again. So answer is Abyss, correct? 0, 1, 2. So that's how your number of argument will be unknown. Add a asterisk sign before each and every parameter name. So if I'll write 0, kids 0, so the answer is Amel, correct? Because it is on the 0th place. Okay, if I'll write 1, instead of this, if I'll write 1, your answer is Lunas, correct? Because it depends upon the position of it. Moving forward to your unpacking argument list, what it is and how it has been obtained with your the packing list part. Okay, now what is your unpackaging argument list? In your unpackaging argument list, argument are already in your list in tuples, neither unpackaged for a function, particular function, and that function call requires a separate positional argument. If the separate positional argument is not there, it will not happen in a particular form. And moreover, what will happen is the unpackaging argument list will not appear in a formalized past. Correct. If I'll say you the argument for any of your instance, the built-in function is to just separate the start and stop argument. So it depends upon how the range. If your range is not available separately, we used to write a function call with the minus operator, as we used to write in the asterisk in previous one, to unpack the argument out of a list in a particular list or the tuple. So here you can see an example about the list range we have, and after that we need the list range. In your tuples and your list, we use the asterisk to unpackage the argument, but in your dictionaries we use double asterisk. Just a minute. We use a double asterisk for unpackaging the argument. Correct? It depends upon the value observation with the conditional part, how it has done or not, because some of the values are there where you used to have the degree of deformations in that. So let us go one the topic, that is your recursion. Let us go one topic, that is your recursion topic. This is a recursion in your Python, and almost recursion is same everywhere. Just the syntax are like in Python there are different syntax. You see, but the concept is almost same. So Python also accept your function recursion, which means a function, which means like a defined function call can call itself. Okay, just remember. I also remember the similar way. Just remember that you're going to somewhere. This is your home. This is your home. Okay, and you are going to some park. Let me draw some tree. You are going to some park just to have a walk. Okay, you are walking somewhere. Okay, now you went from your home, okay, and you walk to a park to walk. Now again, what you need, your time is over, means like you are like tired while walking and all. Now you want to go back also to your home from where you came, correct? So that is like from where you come, you are going again to there. So coming and going. So returning, you came somewhere and now you are returning somewhere. So this means like a function can call itself. Okay, when a function is defined or any of that or declared, it calls by itself. A function can call by itself. That means a recursion means like a function can call by itself. Correct? A function is called by itself. This is example. Just remember this example. You will never forget the recursion. Recursion is your common like mathematical and a programming concept. It means like a function can call itself. This will benefit the loop, like that declared data, which will automatically result in your output. Correct? In your examples, we used to provide a recursion, but it happens with more of your deformative. Just to remember one thing, what is your recursion? The function can call itself again and again. Let us give one example of your recursion, and that this is very important example of recursion, and although it is lengthy. Now if I'll try recursion, and sometimes you get an error also in this. Just remember one thing. Now if I'll generate, or if I'll begin a loop, correct? If I'll begin a loop, and in this I need a result. k plus try recursion, that is k minus 1. Correct? After that, I need to print result. Okay, now let us like run, so you will better know about. So nothing is there. Correct? If I'll say that this again, after if I need to get an else also, else loop also, if I'll say that the result is equals to 0, and let me just return result. Correct? Now if I'll say that print in recursion example. So just to remember that it is the recursion example. I'm writing it. So it is, if I'll say the try recursion is 6. Correct? Let us print this. So you can see the recursion example. This is executed. Correct? After that, if I wrote the try recursion, okay, this is just an example to remember. Like try recursion is your function that we need to define. We need to define or to call itself as in recurse. We use the k variable as a data, which will decrement as in -1 every time we recurse it out. Okay, which will like give you recurse data. Okay, recurse when we used to decrement as in -1 k minus 1, it will give us the recurse. The recursion ends with the condition is not greater than 0. Okay, there is always a condition that it cannot be greater than, it can be condition is not like we cannot get it greater than 0 when it is a 0 itself. Correct? So this is the example for your recursion, and this is very much important example where you have to define a variables in that. If I'll say that it is 2, and again if I'll run it, the output is different. On 1 it was different, on 0 it was different, and on 2 it is different. On 1, if I'll say that was 0, if I'll write 1, it will start from 2, 4, 7. Every time there is a recursion until reach to the recursion value of try recursion 6. Correct? So this was this much was your about your recursion point and your the function, Python function. So tomorrow we will learn about what are the lambda function, what are arrays. Correct? Thank you so much for watching this.